from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Investigators say the man who shot Fargo police officer Jason Mosier died from a shot that was self-inflicted. This development is listed in a review of the investigation of what happened on February 10th. It involved Marcus Schumacher. The review says that police fired 2 shots at Schumacher, who was holed up in his North Fargo home. Both of the shots wounded Schumacher in the arm, and goes on to say that Schumacher died from a self-inflicted wound. It adds that no criminal charges will be filed against law enforcement. Surprise daycare inspections are unveiling dangers for our children. Rusty nails, unlocked liquor, moldy toilets, just a few of the problems at daycares around the country. Surprise visits by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services found 96% of child care facilities had at least one safety or health violation. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Nicole Johnson shows us how to make sure that your kids are safe.
This is our dramatic playroom.
It's unusually quiet at Children of Hope Child Care.
Everything from dress up to Barbies to toys.
Hope Holman oversees dozens of kids.
They pretty much learn how to potty train, use their language, the foundation, the shapes.
She's not shocked that so many child cares across the country end up with health and safety violations.
When the inspectors come in, they're looking at everything from files to soccer covers to bleach solution to everything, even mats, to make sure the children are safe. So it's really easy to let things slip through the cracks.
Holman says there is at least one surprise visit a year, but the inspections don't stop there.
They pop up whenever they get any calls, concerns, complaints, anything. They'll pop up and just pop in and see what you're doing, seeing how many staff you got, how the kids are doing, you know, and just checking in. We have a cook come in, you know, he cooks here.
At this site, Holman has many things to keep track of, from their own kitchen with a chef to their classroom pets they add weekly. These fish come with a long list of requirements.
The number one thing you want to look for is making sure that facility is licensed. If it's not licensed, there is nothing regulating what they teach, what they serve for meals, or what they do daily activities. Those licensors make sure you follow the guidelines and policies that keep the children healthy and safe.
Her advice: visit your child at their daycare yourself and get a feel for how safe you think they are.
We put this brand new set out here.
Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services recommends using Child Care Aware of America for safety information and facility ratings. We have a link to their websites on our website at valleynewslive.com. Go there and click on the hot button. Residents of Callaway, Minnesota are back in their homes after a train semi-collision led to their evacuation and a propane tank explosion. Ernest Clark is one of those residents who says he felt the massive explosion that twisted metal like branches on a tree. His house is still standing, but with damage like this across the street from him, he's happy it didn't turn out much worse.
We had a bunch more pictures. They were all on the floor, insulation on the floor. The crawl space covers blew out. There's no insulation on it, and there was about this much insulation before.
Insurance agents tell Valley News Live it's going to be days before the full extent of the damage buildings and houses suffered is known. I guess we shouldn't complain too loudly about the snowflakes today. Others in the valley, the region, in fact, other parts of the country are getting or received much more. Let's go to Hutch to find out what's ahead for tonight. Hutch, are you taking any complaints?
Well, no, not too many. I think all of us understand how our weather can whiplash back and forth at this time of the year. Here is a look at the Department of Transportation camera in Moorhead on Highway 75 at 40th Avenue South. So some snow accumulating on grassy surfaces and a few roads could be slick. A report of just over an inch in the Fargo area of snowfall. Look at our tower cam time lapse there. For a while, it was blinding. Most of the snow has slipped off to the east. We still have some bands from Clay County up through northwestern Becker County. And in southern reaches of Mahnomen County, we have some heavier or larger flakes, as you saw pass through the FM area. Likewise, some heavier flakes moving through Lemoore, Ellendale, toward Oaks and Lisbon in the next hour or so. Not significant accumulations here as we go through the evening, Mike, but certainly some light snow to contend with and a little cool down. Now, we do warm up as we head through the Easter weekend. I'll have details on what you can expect in a few minutes.
I didn't ask you if you'd received any complaints. I was just asking if you're taking complaints.
That would be no. Okay. I think I'm busy.
All right, thanks.
You bet.
A North Dakota man who worked at the mall in Minot dressed as an Easter bunny is in jail tonight for failing to register as a sex offender. Police arrested 24-year-old Daniel Elwell Sanderson for violating his probation. Court records indicate that Sanderson pleaded guilty last December to exposing himself to a 10-year-old child. The Dakota Square Mall in Minot said they were not aware of Sanderson's sex offender status. Police tonight need your help in finding a Moorhead runaway teen. She's 16-year-old Cheyenne Dakota Butler. She hasn't been seen at school and stopped showing up for her job about a month ago. Family members say that they had been talking to Cheyenne on the phone, but now aren't able to get hold of her. Moorhead police received a juvenile runaway report on February 29th, and they still haven't been able to find her either. Anyone that may have helpful information is asked to call their local law enforcement agency. A man from Gilby, North Dakota, involved with an armed standoff in Grand Forks last month will not go to jail if he goes to recommended treatment. 28-year-old Zachary Crandall was charged with terrorizing after he made threats to family members. When officers responded, Crandall came outside of the home he was at with a weapon. No one was hurt in this incident. If Crandall complies with chemical dependency and mental health evaluations, his charge will be dismissed with prejudice. The federal government might force the North Dakota Department of Transportation to change requirements for driver's license. Congress passed the Real ID Act to make sure that people getting on airplanes and into federal buildings who say they are can prove it. The law requires that North Dakota must verify everyone's address with something like a lease or a utility bill, and then scan and file those documents before issuing a driver's license. The state has until October to either file for an extension or get up to code. And if the state isn't following regulations, air travelers may not be able to use North Dakota IDs by 2019. Minnesota is currently going through the same situation. Their deadline is January of 2018. But lawmakers may try to come up with a fix during this current legislative session. An annual fundraising campaign at an area grocery store is raking in the donations for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Marketplace Foods in Minnesota and North Dakota participated in the MDA Shamrocks fundraising program, and the community helped raise more than $10,000. This morning in Bemidji, Marketplace Foods presented the check to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. The money will go toward helping kids and adults deal with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and muscle debilitating diseases. The money also helps send local kids to MDA summer camp at no cost to their families. You may be enjoying our warmer than average spring, but apparently so is Minnesota wildlife. The Minnesota DNR says bears may be emerging from hibernation earlier than usual, and that means you need to pay attention to things that could attract them, such as homes and cabins by garbage, bird feeders, pet food, charcoal grills, fruit trees, and gardens. For more information on how to avoid bear interactions, go to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story. Later on Valley News Live at 6, a definite sign of the times as we visit an Easter decorated home in West Fargo.
Tracking flakes through the valley this Friday evening. It does look like milder and quieter weather is ahead for the weekend. Your hour-by-hour forecast is coming up right after this.